What up, dudes? It's Gaz, and welcome back to the WARFRAME video. So we got the Kuva Hek, recently buffed, and one-shotting level 10,000 Thrax in Void Cascade. We go over a level 10,000 build guide, and basically a lot of things about the Kuva Hek and what got buffed with it, so you can do the same things in the footage and kill maximum level enemies. As far as what kind of build and all that, we will be going deep dive on that stuff, but I just like to let you know a couple things before we get into it. I have a couple things on this Kuva Hek not fully min-maxed. This thing used to be the meta for Archon hunts back in the day, but now they made that Archons cannot be one-shot as easily. It is really, you don't need a radiation roll anymore. I would say go for a toxin roll if you are trying to use this for high-level missions. Although, as I show in the footage, you can kill level 10,000 Thrax with just the radiation roll. And additionally, I just don't think this is really worth using in the long run, but for low-level missions, or like normal-level missions, this thing hits really hard. It can take out like basically any enemy in the game in one shot. So let's get right into it. But before we do, make sure you sub this channel. We do daily Warframe video uploads. I've been live streaming a lot of Warframe recently too, so come on, stop the live stream channel if you want to come out and check out the stuff as it's being tested live. Alright, so yeah, we've done, I think, three level 10,000 runs with the Kuva Hek at this point. And I am sick of using the Kuva Hek, but it can still get the job done if you're okay with a weapon that has 4 rounds in the magazine, which is going to be one of the biggest problems here. Additionally, it has a special alt fire mode. So we push the alt fire mode. As you can see, we have 4 bullets in the magazine. Alt fire fires all 4 shots at the same time. But there are some issues with this. So if you have 3 rounds in the magazine, it will not do the alt fire. If I push the button for the alt fire, look what happens. It reloads the gun. So you already have a massive quality of life problem here, where if you fire any shots and then push the alt fire button, you're already having to be forced to reload. So here are some heavy gunners right here. So right there, that's a no buffs Hunter Edition shot. If I throw on Viral with Nourish, which was used in the footage, we get a ton of Viral for big slash procs. Of course, we use the super shot, we're not going to be able to see the alt fire, going to be able to even see the slash procs. So this thing can do some pretty high damage. We are also using Vigorous Swap on our Revenant, so what we can do is we can proc him up with the Kompressa or whatever, and then swap over, and that guy is super, super dead. So as far as how much damage we need to kill those level 10,000 Thrax, this can handle it, but I'm going to show you one of the main issues with this weapon. It's going to actually be the pellet spread. Not something you talk about very often in Warframe, but yes, you will see inconsistent damage with this weapon due to the pellet spread of the shotgun. So here's a non-alt fire shot. So as you can see, pellet spread, you know, it's good chunk of the circle. But then if we use the mod Soft Hands, we swap back and forth. Now the pellet spread is extremely precise. So if you want to use this for high levels, you might want to use that Soft Hands and Reflex Draw combination, as the Thrax that we're fighting are kind of tiny, honestly. And the spread of this thing, like, you will get so many shots registering as body shots, which we do not want. This thing kind of has a lot of annoying problems with it, where you need to go for headshots. I know, shocker, you need to go for headshots, just like the Kuva Sobek. Also, we got a 60% radiation roll right now. You need to go for headshots to kill these level 10,000 Thrax in one bullet. Or rather, in one shot, because they also like to jump around. I'm going to show you that in the sim. So, if you don't have this Riven, the idea of this build is to go for red crits on the Kuva Hek. So, you won't be getting as many red crits with Vigilante, but you can just put on Prime Point Blank in that slot instead. Going to be pretty similar, just less crit. With critical deceleration, we have 69% critical chance, and with Avenger, you'd still be able to get some orange and red crits with that. But for the purpose of this build, we have the critical chance Riven to get us to 93 before Avenger. Now, as far as the thing that got buffed on the Kuva Hek, it's the Scattered Justice mod. This mod was not allowed before. Now it is. So, just 200% multi-shot all the time. Also, plus the Justice effect, which gives you an AoE blast proc, also gives you an HP, like a heal, which is actually kind of nice because we are running Combo Discipline on Revenant to get those Avenger procs, because he doesn't usually take damage. One of the stars of the show here, this was added on the 3rd level 10,000 run with the Hek. Soft Hands on equip, minus recoil and plus accuracy for 8 seconds. There's even a Volt holding a shotgun in the picture, so that's, you know, this might be pretty good here. I used to have Lock and Load on here instead, as, you know, reloading this thing is annoying. I had this in the Exodus slot, 20% of the magazine reloaded per second while holstered. That can work. For the run that this weapon felt the best on, I had this equipped, with also synth mods to make it auto-reload while holstered as well. So, also, as far as Arcane's, primary dexterity's on here, because I have the Glaive Prime equipped for killing lots of enemies, and it's the easiest, most consistent stacks. I also had Shotgun Vendetta. I've got some one-shots in level 10,000 Thrax with Shotgun Vendetta. What I would not recommend is primary Deadhead, because Unless you're like, having tons of... If we're using Hunter Munitions like this, the trash adds are dying to slash procs, not the upfront damage most of the time. So I'd recommend going for Dexterity with a Glaive or something to get stacks from, or Vendetta just to get a bunch of extra multi-shot and some good reload speed. Other ones, probably not going to really be what I'm looking to run here. Alright, so as far as the build though, we got no Elementals and we got Hunter Munitions. We are getting Elementals from Nourish on our Helmet ability on our frame. You technically don't need to run Hunter Munitions now. If you wanted to min-max this more, you could go for a Toxin roll, and then maybe take off Hunter Munitions for a Prime Chilling Grass mod for a ton of extra viral for upfront damage. That being said, it would probably be a lot worse for trash ads with that build, so use that idea at your own risk. Alright, as far as what we're using in other places to have red crits, we've got Arcane Avenger on our Revenant. We've also got combo this one. On kill, we will lose 10 health. Basically, we take 10 damage through our Mesmer skin, which is good for this. Whenever we take that damage, we can proc Arcane Avenger, which gives us 45% increased critical chance. It's actually flat, like additive critical chance at the end. So we go from 93 to like 130. Additionally, Vigilante Pursuit is only on here to give us a chance to make those orange crits into red crits. So we can get red crits on the Kuva Hek with this build loadout. Of course, it would work without a Riven, but I'd highly recommend using a Riven for this. This is just a zombie Revenant. I got a full build guide on the channel for it. Nourish to make it where we get viral on our weapons and also energy multiplier. Mesmer Skin to combine with Energy Nexus, and Nourish we have enough energy sustain we can just constantly recast Mesmer Skin. Reeve for mobility. Reminder, even though it says 100% health drain almost on here, it does not one-shot overguarded Thrax. Reeve is pretty bad against overguard, so I'd recommend just using an actual weapon, like a dual Toxicist, to kill them instantly. And we also have Enthrall. You can put on Thrall Pack for a bunch of extra damage if you'd like, but the way this weapon works, if you hit all the pellets, you don't need this, but the problem is the pellets don't always hit. So we'll show that in the footage. Also, Molt-Augmented for a bunch of extra power strength. Alright, for our procer here, we've got the Kompressa. Now, this is not my normal Kompressa build at all. We've got Synth Charge on here to auto-reload while holstered. Probably don't really need this since I'm not using Lock and Load anymore, but I just want to show you guys the thing I had equipped in the video. Encumber to get a bunch of extra procs to the enemy. Reflex Draw to stack with the other one for a bunch of extra accuracy. And yeah, just basically procking them up with Viral, Corrosive, and here's the kicker, Cold. Since we're fighting overguarded enemies, they're not going to stand still unless you line up your shot. And this weapon you need to line up your shot with. So, yeah, I have Cold Procs to slow on the Thrax. Even then, just use the dual Tox, honestly. This thing is way too much effort for the one-shots you get. You can one-shot with other things a lot easier, I feel like. For the Glaive, I've got the 12x build. Now, I did put on Glider Might instead of Weeping Wounds to try it out, and it felt pretty much exactly the same. So you can put on Glider Might or Weeping Wounds in that slot for a bunch of extra stats. The Riven is going to be double crit heavy efficiency minus range. How do we get melee crescendo stacked up? We use the arrow mod set on our Sentinel. I'll show you that in a second. We get the 12x perma Glaive here, and we just go crazy. Melee crescendo is a very good arcane. This is better than melee duplicate on the Glaive. Like, seriously, like, stop using melee duplicate on the Glaive if you have this. This is better. Just a little bit more work in a longer mission, but you'll get good results out of it. Yeah, this will one-shot pretty much everything level 10,000. And honestly, these runs turn into, from Kuva Hek runs into Glaive Prime runs because the Glaive Prime is that much better than the Hek. Alright, for here we got the Equilibrium build on Diriga. I'm not even using Equilibrium, it's just there to get more orbs on the ground. The big thing here is Arrow Periphery. Damaging enemies while airborne, or while aim gliding will put them to sleep when you land for 3 seconds. That's how you get melee crescendo stacks easily. Rest of this stuff is just the best Sentinel stat stick for Manifold Bond. Alright, enough talking, let's get some gameplay footage of level 10,000 on the screen. And we can talk about if this thing is worth your time. And I mean, hopefully I've made it clear right now that I don't really think it's worth your time, but that doesn't mean that you shouldn't get it. If you have the Kuva Hek and you've been holding on to it for like years or whatever since they made it not one-shot Archons anymore, this is something you could potentially do. So you can one-shot level 10,000 Thrax if you're like dead on target. Like they need to be standing still basically. If you've got our Thrax running away from you, you need to constantly correct your aim, and that makes it really annoying because the Thrax has a tiny hitbox for their headshot, and you need headshots in this weapon to kill them in one hit at this level. Now, this weapon is probably a lot better for Disruption. In Disruption, the Demolists don't have any overguard. They can be Magus lockdown, and you can get an easy shot lined up on those Demolists. So I'd highly recommend maybe trying out in Disruption if you'd like to do Disruption missions. But for Void Cascade, these enemies just jump around too much. You need to aim way too much for this. And if you have teammates that are actually using competent weapons like the Dual Toxicist, or even like the Tenant Galaxy or like the Torrid or something, you will be fighting with them to get these kills because unlike them, you need to stand there and line up your shot. And if the Thrax is like, running towards somebody, you are constantly have to correct your angle of like, okay, is it going to hit the Thrax's head now? Oh, no, he moved a little bit more. You have to aim, because if you miss and you push that alt fire button, you have to reload after that. If you messed up, you have to reload instantly after that, and it is not a good feeling. So, as far as overall usefulness, I would recommend the Glaive over the Kuva Hek for sure. Like, as you can see, I keep just switching to it because it's too inconvenient for these guys. So, you can use it on like Trash Ads and Eximus, and in Disruption it's probably a lot better with Magus Lockdown and all that. But yeah, here, too much overguard, honestly, too much overguard and too many Thrax all over the place. Like, you need to basically, and of course they get corrupted mid-shot. And there's my teammate killing it before I could even shoot because the dual toxist is good. You need to line up your shot, you need to obviously not miss. If you get like a shoulder shot, you're doing like 10% of their overguard. Where, if you were like being a little bit more lazy with your aim with a dual toxicist or something, you just shred them instantly. So, it's not the best for Acolytes either at this level. I'm probably making it sound like it's really not good. The reason I'm saying it's not good is because compared to the meta stuff, this is way too much. The amount of extra damage you get for aiming and all that is just not really worth it. And like when you pull out the Kuva Hek, you're just like, well, why'd I even bother bringing this? That's how I felt when I was running these runs. I've done 3 level 10,000 Hek runs, and I'm like, why am I even bothering bringing this? Other weapons can kill these guys faster. And again, like I said earlier in the video, like level 200, this thing's great. Like I showed in the sim, level 200 is great. I got a punch through Riven. You can clear out an entire row of Eximus in one alt fire shot. But for this level, it's too risky. I guess risky would be a good way to put it. If you miss your shot, you're stuck reloading. And the primary shot doesn't usually do enough damage with one pellet to kill level 10,000 Thrax in the first place. The normal shot can kill level 10,000 Eximus, but yeah, for the Thrax jumping around and, waving their scythe around and all that stuff, I'd say look elsewhere. I got plenty of videos about level 10,000 Thrax killing on this channel. Yeah, do not use the Kuva Hek for this unless you want to, put an unnecessary amount of extra challenge on yourself. All right, I'm going to go ahead and show you the punch through Riven here and how it can work with, if you're using it for more normal level content. Maybe you're not looking to like just do level 10,000s like I'm constantly looking to do. So we're going to go from the critical chance Riven that lets us get some red crits of Vigilante. We're going to switch to the punch through Hek Satanaka Riven, multi-shot punch through and minus puncture. This weapon does not normally have this much punch through. It has 0.3 usually. Now we got 3.3. We can clear out an entire wave or entire row of enemies if they were to stack up like this. You could like put some like grouping ability on there. And I'm not saying it's like, bad. I'm just saying that I don't like this, personally. Alright, so we got a row of enemies here. And as you can see, no stacks. With Hunter Munitions, it took out the entire row of enemies. Pretty nice. So, do that again. That's with a punch through Riven. You could put a punch through mod on here, but as you can see, the pellets do go all over the place. So let's reproc our accuracy here. On this level of enemies, you can just use the non alt fire shot. You don't need all 4 barrels on these enemies because they're a lot easier to kill, honestly. We don't even need Hunter Munitions at this level because they're so much weaker. This is more normal level content. So yeah, if this looks good to you, like it has nice satisfying sound effects, that's always good. This could definitely be a thing you could use for like swordies or for like maybe deep Archimedeans or something. But yeah, for endurance runs, look elsewhere unless you're maybe doing disruption, then throw on Magus Lockdown to stun them. By the way, guys, hope you found this video fun and helpful. A Toxin roll probably would be better in the long run, but I didn't want to fight another Kuva Lich just to get this thing, a weapon I don't even like in the first place. So, see you guys next time. Appreciate the support. Take it easy. Peace.